You probably have heard of the two retirement vehicles, the investment retirement account and the 401k. You can decide whether you want to classify these accounts as a traditional or Roth account. I've heard a lot of discussion about which one is better, so I'm making this video to give you some guides to follow when determining which way you should go. First, I will talk about a quick overview of the differences between a traditional and a Roth account. Then I will give you the rule of thumb to follow when deciding between the two classifications. And lastly, I'll mention a couple more qualitative factors you should definitely consider. So let's get started. So we've already established that we have two types of accounts, an IRA and a 401k. The main difference between IRAs and 401ks are just their limits. They're pretty much the same besides that, except for their classifications, which are Roth or traditional. Roth accounts include post-tax dollars and traditional accounts include pre-tax dollars. To quickly explain this, let's go over a quick example. Let's assume your tax rate is 10%. If you make $1,000, you would pay $100 in taxes, which would leave you with $900 after tax to invest. These $900 could go into a Roth account because they're after-tax dollars. However, if you invest pre-tax, you can invest the entire $1,000 and delay paying taxes into the future. Now that you get this, let's go back to the table. IRAs also generally allow you to invest in individual stocks, while the 401ks generally come with a preset menu of funds you have to pick from. So if you want to invest all your money in GameStop, you generally can't through a 401k. A Roth is very powerful because you don't pay taxes after you take your money out. In a 401k, you delay taxes, and so you have to pay ordinary taxes when you take your money out. These are the same rates you pay from the income that you make from your job. Keep in mind that in all these accounts, you can't take the money out until you are 59 and a half years old unless you want to pay a 10% penalty. Hence, retirement accounts. Lastly, only 401ks offer an employee match. A caveat is that for the Roth 401k, the match is made to a traditional 401k account, not to a Roth 401k. So that's a quick review of the difference between the two classifications. If you want a more detailed video, let me know and I can make one. But now let's move on to what you came to see, which is which classification should I pick? To determine which classification to go with, the most important things to consider are your tax rate today and the tax rate you expect to pay when you retire. Let's take an example. Assume Ralph makes $220,000 per year and is seeing what type of 401k to pick. Let's assume in this case that he lives in New York City and his federal tax rate for every additional dollar he makes is 32%. He also has to pay a 6.85% state tax and a 3.876 New York City tax. This would mean that Ralph pays a total of 42.7% for every extra dollar he makes in New York City. Now, let's say he's willing to contribute $10,000 a year post-tax. This would mean that he can contribute $17,452 pre-tax. Let's also assume that Ralph will retire in 30 years. Now let's assume three different retirement scenarios. First, you could stay in New York City and stay in the same tax bracket as you are today. Second, you can move to the warmth. You can move to Florida and save almost 10% in state and city taxes. And third, you could move to California and pay close to 50% in taxes. By applying the following growth formulas, you would get these amounts. As you can see, there is a general rule of thumb. If you expect the tax rates to be the same today as when you retire, then you're indifferent as to the account you would pick. If you're currently paying higher taxes today than you expect to pay at retirement, it is generally better to use a traditional IRA or 401k. And lastly, if you're currently paying less than you expect to pay at retirement, then a Roth account would be better. I'd say one of the times these rules wouldn't apply is when you are able to max out your Roth 401k. Here you can see a table with potential returns with both accounts maxed out. Keep in mind that you would need around $41,000 in this example to be able to put $23,500 into your Roth 401k. On the traditional case, even if you invest the extra money above the $23,500, you would not get what you make in the Roth. If you are in this level, you are doing very well and I congratulate you. You also have to consider qualitative aspects when picking between the two. You would also pick a Roth if you want to avoid taxable required minimum distributions. In a traditional account, when you turn 73, you have to start to take out money out of your accounts. This is not the case for Roth accounts. And this last one only applies to a Roth IRA, but if you plan to trade in your account or cheat the system and grow your account to $5 billion tax-free, like Peter Thiel, then the Roth IRA is for you. On the other hand, invest in a 401k if you need to reduce your taxable income today to apply for a tax credit or something that needs your income below a certain threshold. You should also definitely consult a financial advisor, as I am not one, and all I know is from the internet, of course, experience, and obviously ChatGPT. But these are just some general tips that you could follow and make your decision a little easier. Let me know if you take anything else into account when deciding between the two classifications. I hope this video helped a lot. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more content like this one. I post videos every Wednesday, so we'll see you next week. Peace.